Hello, everybody. Hope you guys are doing good. Come on in the room, trickle on in, say hello. Okay. Hello, everyone. I am Mambo Soleil. I am the founder and facilitator of the Charm School Mentorship, Coven Mother of Vision of Dawn Tour. I am your weekly reader, and I am a dope bitch straight up out of Oakland. So we're here tonight to gossip. We're here to shoot the mess. You guys should be used to the format by now. Sundays is when I do the weekly overview and personal readings. Thursday is when we do happy hour. That's when we drink together. We talk shit about pop culture, and I pull cards on that. Many of you who found out about my Charm School mentorship program found out about it through the Charm School lecture series. And that is going to be returning very, very soon. So probably in the next 2 weeks, I'll get, hey, JL. JL, you've been on my heart so much recently. Good to see you. I'm really happy that you're here tonight. That lecture series is going to return in a couple of weeks. So keep your eyes out for that. I will, God willing, before the year is over, I'll be at a 3-time weekly live stream schedule instead of the twice weekly schedule that I'm on now. So those are the things I do. Tonight, we're here for happy hour. Happy hour, again, we drink, we talk shit. I'm not drinking alcohol right now. Y'all know I fast from my vices regularly. So I got my sparkling water here tonight. I got my sparkling water and I have a still water, and I'm gonna pretend like this sparkling water is a little Aperol spritz moment. Hey, Alizone. Hey, Bertal. Hey, Chantel. Good to see you. Hey, La Balin. Hello, everyone who is here tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. Hello, hi. Oh, Renee. Hello, Renee. Renee is channeling in from her burner account again tonight. I saw some things on the internet streets, if you want to call them that I wanted to talk about because I thought that they were kind of funny. One is, what has people should I start there? Okay, I was gonna start with Slim Thug, but let's start with Deion and Karreuche because I want to know how y'all feel about this pairing. Was it out of left field? Yes, it was out of left field. Am I mad about it? No, I actually kind of like this pairing. And I want to hear what you guys have to say first before. And actually, I'll go ahead and jump into why it doesn't bother me, why I actually like it. First of all, I think cat daddy and sugar daddy relationships are kind of dope when it's age appropriate. And I feel like this one is age appropriate. This is a woman that's in her... Karreuche is 38 years old. Karreuche is 38 years old. Karreuche is an elder millennial. She looks baby-faced. She looks very, very young. But that's a grown woman. That is a grown lady, right? And Deion is almost 60. So no, it's a big age gap, but it's not like, if this age gap was like 19 and 41, I would be upset. But 38 and 57, I really don't think that is that scandalous. I really don't think it's that deep. I see absolutely nothing wrong with it. That's first and foremost. So again, age gaps are not inherently wrong. It depends on the type of age gap. In my opinion, if any one of the partners in the age gap relationship that has more than 10 years of difference, if any of those partners is under 25, then that's a problem. Right? Don't date children. Don't date people who do not have fully developed frontal lobes. It's not that hard, but when I was 38, I dated someone who was 55. It's not that they're automatically more mature, right? It's not about that. It's just that the age gap is not in and of itself wrong. Now, my 55-year-old that I dated when I was 38 was a fucking child. Like, that's another thing. I feel like that's an important conversation to have, but it's slightly, we'll get there. But I want to talk about why I personally don't have a problem with this relationship. And I see why other people have a problem with it, but I'm gonna be honest. I feel like who all was, I know some of y'all are young. How many of y'all remember when Karreuche first started dating Chris Brown, right? How many of y'all remember that? And how many of y'all are Rihanna fans? I'm gonna get to my point in a second. I think Karreuche, the way that she entered, like popular culture, Hollywood, all that stuff, was really, really interesting because, first of all, she was the first public girlfriend that Chris Brown had after Rihanna, right? We come to later know throughout the years that Rihanna was not done with Chris, even though they had that tumultuous public domestic violence situation, right? So Rihanna was mean as fuck to that little girl. Like people, it became popular for people to kick Karrueche's back in. People made fun of her name. People were calling that girl carburetor and all kind of fucked up shit. She was a stylist before they started dating. So the thing to make fun of her for was that she was poor and all this other stuff. And then when she did Iyanla Vanzant, oh my God, that did not do her any favors, right? Okay. So I say that to say that even though Karreuche has been in the public eye for, at this point, more than 15 years and has developed a career as an actress and all this other stuff, people still kind of see her as that girl that they got used to kicking back in, if that makes sense, right? So I think that there's a way in which people have been already conditioned themselves to not like Karreuche. In addition to the fact that people forget that, you know, celebrities age and this woman is almost 40. She's not the 24-year-old that we were introduced to, right? I think it's one of those things where people automatically don't like her. And so when you add the randomness of this relationship, it's really easy for people to have a problem with it. But I don't have a problem with it. I actually think it's a great pairing. And I'll explain to you why. Leave it to me to bring a disability perspective into a dating conversation. Okay. You have Karreuche, publicly dated a Taurus man, bless her heart. Karreuche is a Taurus woman. Karreuche found herself in a very physically, emotionally, and some would say spiritually abusive relationship with a celebrity. That celebrity never left her alone, okay? The only reason why Chris Brown stopped harassing her in the ways that he was because she had to put a restraining order against him. You have to remember that Chris Brown, who is like 6'4", kept popping up on Karreuche in public, who's all of 5'1", harassing her, threatening her friends, okay? I don't know if you guys have ever survived domestic violence, especially with somebody who may have a little bit, I mean, shit, that's Chris Brown. Some of y'all just dated the nigga who was the local plug, and he used his position and power to make things uncomfortable for you. You understand what I'm saying? So imagine dating Chris Brown. Do you have the greatest or the healthiest or the easiest dating life after that? No, you don't. You really don't. And we witnessed Chris, and mind you, unpopular opinion, Chris Brown fan. I don't like him as a human. I don't know him as a human. I don't like any domestic violence or a domestic abuser, but I listen to the man's music, right? This man, we watched this man harass Victor Cruz and harass Quavo and harass everybody that this poor girl has tried to date after that. What he gonna do to Prime? I want y'all to tell me what Chris Brown gonna do to Deion Sanders. What is Chris Brown going to do to Deion Sanders? It is Chris Brown, and I don't care. We can make fun of him for being chronically ill, and I'm gonna talk about that shit in a minute because that's horrible. We got to get better about that. We can talk about the fact that he old. We can talk about the fact that he chronically ill. I don't give a fuck about none of that. In what world is Chris Brown running up on Deion Sanders. In what world is Chris Brown threatening Deion Sanders? I want y'all to tell me. I want to hear these scenarios. Chris Brown can punk Quavo, but what he gonna do to Prime? Bertal said if he get on that coke, anything is possible. You're right. I have come to learn that cokeheads are very brave and brazen people, unfortunately. Not JL saying that he's in crackhead business. Okay, so y'all are banking on the the coke / crack rage to be in Chris's favor. Okay, let me rephrase that because y'all are thinking about physical brawn. Even though I think even as a sick person, with the amount, it's Deion Sanders, he could still whoop Chris Brown's ass. But if y'all want to, we don't have to agree on that. Let me add an additional layer to that. In what world does Chris Brown have access to Deion Sanders without his express permission? In what world does Chris Brown even get into a position where he could do something to Deion Sanders? Exactly. Coach Prime has security that will stay strapped. Like there is, so Taurus woman. Roll call here. I'm right here. Taurus women are very much about their security. We automatically default to the finances of security, but security in general, do not play about my safety. Do not play about my safety. So I think it's really smart. I think it's actually low-key strategic for Karreuche to be with somebody like Deion Sanders. I'm dating these rappers. These rappers are all pussy. They scared of this person. They expect me to do something. If I could have done something, if I could have protected myself, don't you think I would have did it? So let me actually date somebody who's older, who has more stature, who's more well-connected. I'm not likely to be harassed. I'm not likely to have somebody run up on me while I'm trying to go to the Louis Vuitton store and threaten me, right? In addition to that, it's funny because I understand how this gets talked about in terms of misogyny, but I didn't understand the misogynistic lens that people look at this through. Because for me, I grew up in this environment where there was disability consciousness, so I always saw it from this standpoint. Prime got a lot going on. This man only got 6 or 7 toes left. The bladder cancer, thank God he survived it, and thank God they found a way to help him through it. But Prime got a lot going on, okay? And when people, I'm not going to just say men, again, I grew up in disability community, okay? When people know that they have, that they're on the mend and that they have, less days in front of them than they have behind them, sometimes they just want to be with something pretty that's going to talk to them nice and that's not going to bring a lot of drama and complication into their life. Karreuche, for better or for worse, the only drama we know about her is Chris Brown. That girl is pretty. She minds her business. She don't bother nobody. So I'm sorry. Speaking from my maternal and internal misogyny, probably, if I were an older man of means who, again, had more days in front of behind me than I did in front of me, I would want to date somebody who was kind and pretty and who would not bring complication into my life. Maybe I got enough money to buy her a nice car and take her on a private jet every now and then. I don't see the problem. Do I think that this is a relationship built off of, Disney fairy tale shit? Absolutely not. But is it one that probably makes sense for where these people are at this point in their lives? Absolutely. Do I think either of them are inherently bad people? No. Let them have it. I really don't see the drama about it. I really don't. It was random. It was random as hell. but it actually makes a lot of sense. And again, that Taurus energy, not to be vulgar, but Prime's health ain't in the best. So it's not like she gotta, do acrobatics, if you know what I'm saying, for this person. I don't see the problem with the relationship. I really don't. For those of you who don't like this pairing, what makes you uncomfortable about it? For those of you who may be on my side, how do you look at it? Renee said, sadly, restraining orders don't mean nothing, and that's terrifying to know that people have access to you like that. Yeah, we need better laws. We don't take stalking seriously until something bad happens. And I think that's really unfortunate. We do not take stalking seriously until something bad happens. There's a good number of women right now who are in prison for killing their assailant. Because even I got into some shit a year and a half ago with someone in my complex, and the police were not helpful to me at all. Not helpful to me at all. And that was a huge motivator for me to get my gun license, because I was like, niggas are running up on me, and when I pepper spray them, y'all telling me I'm gonna go to jail? No, fuck that. Well, if I'm gonna go to jail, I might as well kill him. That sounds harsh, but again, my Taurus woman, my safety, my comfort, that matters to me. And so, no, I don't need dusty niggas threatening me and being weird. Like, I don't need it. Mia says she's age appropriate, and that's how I feel. That is exactly how I feel. It's funny because we live in a culture that wants us to believe that once a woman is over 35, she no longer has value, right? Or she's no longer beautiful. You have Karreuche, who has proven to be ageless. You can say whatever the fuck you want to. That girl is aging. She's frozen. Karreuche looked damn near exactly how she did when we were introduced to her 10 or 15 years ago. Okay? She's 38 years old, closer to 40 than she's not, still desirable, not bothering nobody. We say that if men are going to date younger, then they should at least make sure that they are of a decent age. I think that close to 40 is a decent age. So which one is it? One moment, over 35, you hit the wall, you don't deserve, Next moment, oh my God, this age gap is disgusting. He should be ashamed of himself. When did 40 become a little girl? When did 38 become a little girl? I don't understand. I've always liked older men past 35. I don't think a big age gap is a problem. That I'm similar. I prefer older men, but for whatever reason, younger men are the ones that approach me the most because God think you funny. But I do tend to prefer older as well. But yeah, I don't see the problem. I don't see the problem. I think people are making a really, really big reach when they say that Deion is being inappropriate, or they compare him to, what's the nasty nigga? The one that just lost all his money and his jobs? What's the man who interviewed Cat Williams? The one who dated the little girl, the 19-year-old girl? Yeah, it'll come to me. Shannon Sharp. Thank you so much, JL. Everybody's comparing Deion Sanders to Shannon Sharp, and I think that is hella disrespectful. I think that is very disrespectful. I think it's short-sighted, and I think it's ridiculous. Like, other than them being football players, this is not the same thing at all. Not even a little bit. Shannon Sharp was 58 years old, dating a 19-year-old, or 56 years old. Why am I stuttering today? 56 years old, dating a 19-year-old. That is completely different than being 57 with a 38-year-old. Those are two very, very different things. And I think it's actually disgusting that people are trying to act like they're the same. It's absolutely not, right? This is a consensual relationship that they are having in public, right? This is them together whilst one of them is going through life-threatening chronic illness. That's very different than a man who is almost 60, essentially purchasing a child prostitute and causing physical violence against. Those are two very, very different things. And it's low-key ridiculous when people act like they're the same. I agree, Chantel, totally different situations. And we have to stop acting like they're the same. It's dismissive. And it's low-key dangerous, right? But no, I don't see a problem with it. I was low-key surprised at how many people I saw were angered by it or annoyed by it. And I really think a lot of it has to do with the fact that people forget how old Karreuche is, because she does not look like anybody's 32. She could easily take on a role playing a 21 or a 22-year-old if she wanted to. But also, like, we have to be realistic that sometimes we have biases towards certain people in the public eye based on how they were introduced to us, right? Karreuche was thrown into the public eye. I don't think she was young, and that was her first celebrity relationship. So I don't think she understood how people were going to receive her. And, you know, in our stan culture where we have these parasocial relationships with celebrities and we think that they're our family, you know, Rihanna got her, what she called the army, her navy, and really rallied them against Karreuche. So I think people don't like Karreuche because they don't know how to trust her based off of the Rihanna Chris Brown stuff. Even though she's her own person, even though she had her own relationship, even though she has her own trauma history that she has to navigate through, that's another thing, that contradiction, right? We feel bad for Rihanna and what happened to her, but people will turn around and say Karreuche deserves what she got, as though people don't date people expecting them to be different or change. And she was very young, right? But I think this relationship is good for her. I'm low-key kind of proud. I'm one of the people that was like, well, damn, Karreuche, you better. You better. Y'all can get confused by that gray beard all y'all want to and the fact that he got adult sons, but Deion used to be something else. A lot of women had a crush on Deion Sanders. So y'all can sit there and act like how y'all want to. A lot of women who become famous will date the men that they had admiration for. Remember when Tom Cruise dated, what's her name, Katie Holmes? And she used to say in interviews, I had a crush on him when I was a little girl. It's a thing that happens. As long as people are full adults with fully developed frontal lobes, don't see the problem. Bertal said, fuck Shannon. Sorry. I don't know why that made me laugh. Bertal said, fuck Shannon. I knew he would have his day when he did not deny protecting Black women. Yeah. He don't like us. And I know that he likes to weaponize the fact that he has unambiguously Black children. But girl, that don't mean nothing to me. Slave masters raped us. Sex and respect are not the same thing. They are not the same thing. That's why white racists lust after Black people, right? So I've never, anytime somebody, I had my baby mama Black. Okay, yeah, you were fucking a Black woman because that was what you had access to, but you still hate us. And I think that we have to complicate our understandings around that. Renee said, why people didn't have much to say when Chris Brown was the assailant. Folks need to mind the business that pays them. She leveled up. Shit, I agree with you. I agree with you. Like I said, I'm a Chris Brown fan. I listen to his music. I mean, I wouldn't pay for his concert tickets. If somebody wanted to gift me any, I wouldn't reject them. But I am a fan of his music. You have to be a fool and a half if you don't see Deion Sanders as an elevation from Chris Brown. That is a huge elevation. Like I was trying to articulate earlier, and I hope it made sense. There are certain spheres of celebrity, and who you have to be to even get in the circles of Deion is very different than who you have to be to get in the circles around Chris Brown. So if you don't understand that as a level up, baby, I don't really know what to tell you. Like, it's a different kind of legacy attached to Deion Sanders. But Tom was out here jumping on Oprah couch behind Katie. Yeah, that's because how much do you know about Scientology, Patel? I don't want no problem, so I'll say it this way. People have been speculating that Tom Cruise may not be the most okay person mentally, and I'll leave it there. But so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, actually, the jumping on the couch, because it made him look bananas. Let's get into Slim Thug's knuckle dragging ass. That when I don't know how, if you guys have ever heard me refer to a man as having knuckle dragging energy, and you need a visual to help you understand what the fuck that means or looks like, Slim Thug. In what universe? And this is how I understand the ways that innately and deliberately women are socialized to think and be different than men. Because as a woman, I mean, we don't really be getting rejected like that all the time, but even if we were to, I can't see a world in which we would have that kind of tantrum. That man really got on the internet and had a tantrum because Megan Thee Stallion don't want to fuck him. And because Megan Thee Stallion got somebody else. He said those things out loud. He said, wait, okay, I don't think you guys understand. This is a grown man. How old is Slim Thug? Like, he's in his late 40s, early 50s. This man got on the internet and recorded himself being mad because somebody don't want to sleep with him. What is going on? JL said Megan needs a restraining order. I felt the same way. I don't think this is normal. I'm very uncomfortable. Rock Nation beefed up her security. It's frightening. That man he got in public and said that. Could you imagine? I'm so grateful that I have friends. I am so deeply grateful. And I have friends. I have colleagues, both in my professional life and my spiritual life. I have people who consider themselves to be my mentors, who will intervene. When I see things like that, I wonder, like, who are your people? Who loves you? There was nobody that was like, dude, take that down, or like, hey, don't do that in the first place. That was so embarrassing, but the logic behind it is really uncomfortable. And I think that's kind of what I want to talk about a little bit, because as weird as that reaction was, bring back shame. I agree with you, La Balin. We need to bring back shame. As creepy as that video was, and as disappointing as that reaction was, it's not uncommon. That was a very incel response to perceived rejection. The way that man behaved is not very different than a 20-something that came of age since COVID, who's isolated and don't know how to talk to bitches and is angry. I forget the young man's name, but if you guys remember the young white man who was from Santa Barbara, who wrote the manifesto and then went on the shooting spree. I was a student at UC Santa Barbara at that time. Now, I was not in the city of Santa Barbara when it happened, but I remember being really, really chilled by it, right? This resentment that men have about not being able to have access to the women that they want, it's frightening. It's scary. I'm laughing because I don't know what else to do about it. We have to kind of laugh to keep from crying. But How is what he did any different than that manifesto that the little white boy wrote? And how is that any different than the people who get on these podcasts and on these live streams who have no social graces and who look, a little uncooked in the face? How is it any different than when they get on live streams and complain about how women are bitches for not wanting them? Right? It's uncomfortable. You have to laugh at it because of how ridiculous it looks, but it has material consequences. Megan Thee Stallion is not obligated to sleep with anybody she doesn't want to sleep with. And she doesn't have to remain single just to make somebody happy. She has a right to get into a relationship. I can't even believe that I have to say that. Slim Thug always seemed cocky. See, here's the thing about being cocky. You can get away with that shit when you're young. When you're young, cocky is always, it's something that you can get away with. But the older you get and the less successful you are, the least you can get away with being cocky. And I'm sorry, Slim Thug does not have the music catalog, the career, the net worth, the impact, the anything to believe that any woman should be with. And even outside of that, even if he had those things, it still wouldn't be okay. It still wouldn't be okay. That's just fucking weird. He is a weirdo. Rejection is scary, but it's good for Megan to be on notice. Men are scary, period. They should respect one's boundaries and leave it at that. I agree 1,000%. Male entitlement is high-key dangerous. They don't believe we have the right to refuse their advances. And that's the thing. That's the thing that's scary, is that men really don't think that you have a right to say no. They don't think you have a right to say no. In addition to them thinking that we don't have a right to say no, there's this assumption that because women's value is in their beauty, that if somebody's attracted to you, you should feel that I get that all the time, especially as a bigger girl. People assume that if somebody's attracted to me, I'm supposed to care. I don't know if you guys understand this. Somebody being attracted to me is their business, not mine. And I'm not attracted to most people, so I'm not going to do backflips just because somebody sees me. I mean, it's not hard. I'm pretty. I have a nice voice. I got big titties. My hair is always not. It's not hard to not be attracted to me. There's so many things on me and about me that are attractive. In fact, I have embraced my beauty as a fact of life. So if somebody's attracted to me, I don't see it as a compliment. I don't see it as a testament of my value and my worth. I see it as a statement of fact. Thank you. I'm beautiful. Water's wet. Sky is blue. God is good. Facts, right? So no, women are not obligated to see somebody being attracted to them as a symbol of their worth and act like they have to be flattered. No one's obligated to be flattered because your dick gets hard. And the fact that men don't understand that is weird. The fact that their refusal to embrace that makes them angry is weird. It's giving that eventually he's going to take something that's where he's going to fuck up at. This point will come back to haunt him. Yeah, I think I would love to see him get off the internet and make some music. For those who enjoy Slim Thug's music, that would probably benefit him and them. It will also help him make some money. The amount of grown men that have the time in the day to get on the internet and complain. This is my work. This is my job. And I don't always have time to get on the internet and talk to y'all. And how the hell are these people who have been famous since the early 2000s? They don't have enough work, enough opportunity, enough whatever to get off the internet. It's weird. It's fucking weird. Slim Thug needs to be ashamed of himself. I still don't understand. And then I'm going to say something that's inappropriate. Fuck it. I'm going to do it. That would be an inappropriate age gap because she's not attracted to him. Slim Thug as an older man does not work the same way that Deion Sanders as an older man works. And I don't care what anybody says. You can be mad at me for saying it. That's just how I feel. That is exactly how I feel. So I'm here for Karreuche and Deion Sanders. And we got to put Megan in bubble wrap and keep her on a high shelf away from, from Slim Thug. Because what the hell is that? You know it's hard for him to let that shit go. Look how long it took him to cut them thin ass braids. Oh, I forgot about them thin ass braids. I literally forgot about those braids. Those braids were terrible. But yeah, it's just so weird. And here's another thing, right? When you got that natural Queen of Wands energy, when you're just naturally really attractive, especially if you're attractive in a way that is meant to be unconventional, right? Megan being very, very tall and statuesque. People do this with dark-skinned women. I don't know how many of you guys are Love Island fans, but I'm gonna be really honest. I've never watched an episode of Love Island a day in my life. But because I saw a picture or somebody retweet a fucking reel of Landria with them high ass cheekbones, I was sold. I was sold. But you know, we see that with them, with the fact that people are constantly debating whether or not Shelly and Olandria are attractive. They're only doing that because they're dark skinned, right? And it's like when you are tall, when you are bigger bodied, when you are dark skinned, whenever you disabled women, I used to see disabled women get this a lot, right? Especially when I worked in DSP. There would be girls that would come in and they would have something going on, chronic illness, whatever. And they would be faces beat down, right? The disabled girls are going to pull their shit together, outfits on point. And then people would make nasty ass comments about, well, I don't have the energy to do my makeup every day. That's not your business. You mad because you assume that this woman is not supposed to be beautiful. And you see this highlight, you see this cut crease, and you mad. People get angry whenever you don't fit whatever convention and you still get a lot of play. When you still have a lot of people attracted to you, it makes people even more upset. So I think that also has a huge role in it because men have this obsession with Megan. Like the way that people follow her around and sniff her panties is crazy. And then the second that she lets somebody go, the second that she don't give somebody no pussy, because Drake's still mad at her allegedly because she wouldn't let him fuck. That's why he won't keep her name out his mouth. Allegedly, I know nothing, right? As soon as she does not consent or does not engage, you Bigfoot bitch, you this, you that, you a hoe, you all that. But you knew all that about her before you got your dick hard about her. And again, when you are non-conventional, that shit happens. I've seen it happen. I have a sister, beautiful chocolate girl. One of her exes pulled that shit. As soon as they fell out, you black ass bitch, you black ass bitch. You knew she was on her Lupita before you fucked her. So why is it an issue now? It's weird. It's really, really weird how people can, and that's why I said what I said about race. Like, racists will fuck people who are black, who are brown, and still be racist as fuck. Like, people have their bigotries, and yeah, they'll still be attracted to you, but it's only when you say no, it's only when you reject them that somehow that's when they want to throw whatever bigotry they had about you in your face. And it's fucking weird. It's deeper than hurt people though, Pratal. It's not as simple as hurt people. It's a need to, because people don't know how to deal with rejection, they go to their oppressive thing that they can use to throw at somebody and dominate them. Phoenix Indigo said big women too. I brought that up. I'm not a small person and I've encountered that before. Do not be the pretty girl that's big in a room full of skinny bitches that are facially challenged. Oh my God. If you are the pretty big girl and a man comes into the room and says something to you first, bitch, the ways that claws will come out. It is disgusting. It is disgusting. But yeah, Slim Thug needs to go sit down somewhere. He needs to stop. And so I want to use this as an opportunity to wrap up and talk about the last thing I have, which still relates to the first two people we talked about, which is dating during the apocalypse. We are in trying times. We are in trying times. And the world is collapsing. And everybody, even people who are crazy, crazy rich, who have amazing access, everybody is being confronted with their mortality right now. So even though people thought that Karreuche and Deion Sanders seemed like a random pairing, whatever that means, I honestly feel like we are not. That's yes, dating during the apocalypse, girl. I don't know what it feels like on your neck of the woods, but in America, it feels very much like, shit's about to crumble in order to be rebirthed again. Okay. But yeah, we're going to see a lot more quote unquote random pairings, right? Because I think that a lot of people who, rather as a protective measure, have convinced themselves that they want or need to be alone, right? Or you can't just be a person that wants to be alone. Some people just aren't the most couple friendly people in the world, right? I go through phases where I want partnership and then phases where it's like nobody talk to me, right? I think it's a help. It's nothing wrong with it. It's just a way to be. But whenever we see times where there is great governmental economic collapse, people do prioritize partnership and love in a really particular way. And a lot of it has to do, I'm not making this up, there's research about it, historians talk about this. I would not be surprised if not only we see a lot more uncommon pairings happen, I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 10 or 15 years we see an increase in the marriage rate, right? Again, people being faced with their mortality, people not wanting to die alone, people not wanting to see the world crumble around them alone. We're going to see a lot more uncommon pairings, okay? So if you look around and you see that A. Marie is now dating Carrot Top, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. If you see Fran Drescher prop up and, she on the red carpet with Lloyd, life is short and we going through a lot. So I really don't think that this is going to be the last of it. I think we're going to see a lot more uncommon couples. And a lot of it has to do with the cultural climate right now. A lot of people who may have been comfortable at one point with being single like a dollar bill, like life is changing. Things are changing and the world is complicated, So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. I didn't want to keep you guys on here for too long. I will be back on Sunday to do the weekly wisdom reading like I do every Sunday. Okay. So I think you guys know that I'm goofy. I'm really serious. I'm really silly, right? I can present serious and I can be serious sometimes, but there's a 12-year-old in my head that thinks everything is funny. So when I said that I'm going to be back here on Sunday like I always do, for whatever reason, I thought of Jocelyn and their dad's going, hey, maid, I see you got on your maid outfit like you always do. Okay, I'm sorry. That was probably just funny to me. I could have kept that to myself. But okay. All right. So I will be back here Sunday night. My Chiron sale is still going on. So if you want to book a reading with me, shadow work consultation, natal chart reading, anything that's going to help you and prepare you for the Chiron retrograde, as well as the multiple other retrogrades going on, you can book that and use the code Chiron to get 20% off. That code expires tomorrow night at midnight. For the entire month of August, Ancestral Life Path readings are going to be on sale for $75. So those are two things you can book if you want to get on my calendar, get a personal reading. My Patreon class was postponed. It was supposed to be this past Tuesday, but it's going to be Tuesday of next week on August 5th. So if you would love to learn about the alchemy of money, the energy around money, how it shows up in people and in your relationships, and how to transmute gossip into abundance, join my Patreon at a paid level before Tuesday, August 5th, so that you can participate in that class with us and get the link to the replay after, okay? Love y'all. I'll see y'all at around 7 or 7:30 on Sunday night. Everybody be good, do good. And until then, I want you all to take care. Bye.